Warning, this podcast contains heavy spoilers for not just one movie, but entire franchises. We highly recommend going and watching these movies before listening to us as a companion piece that stitches all the timelines into one creepy, crime-ridden story. There will be no more spoiler warnings. We do not break character. After this, there is no turning back. You've been warned. Hit the music.
You are talking about the nonsensical ravings of a lunatic mind.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
It's alive! It's
Okay. A man walks into a bar with an ostrich and a cat and sits at the bar. The bartender walks over to them and says, "What can I get for you?" The man says, "I'll have a beer." The ostrich says, "I'll have a beer." The cat says, "I'll have a beer and I'm not buying." So the bartender says, "Okay, that'll be $3.87. The man reaches into his pocket and brings out the exact change and pays him. About an hour later, the bartender goes back over to them and says, "What do you guys have?" The man says, "I'll have a beer." The ostrich says, "I'll have a beer." The cat says, I'll have a half a beer and I'm not buying." The bartender gets them the beer and says, "That'll be $3.87. The man reaches into his pocket and brings out the exact change and pays him. A couple of days later, they come back into the bar and the bartender walks over and asks, "What you guys want today?" The man says, "I'll have a scotch." The ostrich says, "I'll have a bourbon." The cat says, "I'll have half a beer and I'm not buying." So the bartender says, "Okay, that'll be $7.53. The man reaches into his pocket and brings out the exact change and pays him. The bartender's curiosity got the best of him and he asks, "Why is it that every time I tell you the amount you owe, you always have the exact change in your pocket?" The man said, "I found a bottle with a genie in it and she granted me 3 wishes. My first wish was that I always had the exact change in my pocket for anything I buy." The bartender says, "That's a great wish. Better than asking for $1 million. $1 million will run out, but you will never run out if, you always have the exact amount of money in your pocket. What were your other 2 wishes?" The man says, "Well, that's where I screwed up. I asked for a chick with long legs and a tight pussy." Hello and welcome to It's a Live Alive podcast. This is a true crime paranormal interstellar podcast covering unbelievable stories that sound like they were ripped straight from the pages of a Hollywood script. I'm your host, the man of many names, the outlaw Harley Ray, the bruiser Bronson, Dr. H.R. Smokenstein, THC, or you can call me Josh for short. And with me as always is my very own scream queen, the perfect combination of beauty and brains, the bride of Smokenstein, the India horror, the expert, the guts and gore, the gorgeous, the sexy Aimee Rose. Oh, hi. I'm trying not to get sick. I've been sick all fucking week.
In fairness, yeah, you have.
Woke up Monday morning. Oh my god, the kids didn't know what to fucking make of it. I woke up. You caught me Monday morning to walk him to school. And I knew beforehand. We were recording the mini-sodes, I think, the night before. I think we do them on Sundays, don't we? Yeah. And I knew going to bed, it was like, I feel a bit fucking funny. And as soon as I woke up, I was like, I'm fucked. I could tell by you,
fucked. You weren't right at all.
And I was like, I'm going to puke. And I was like, do you know what it was like? Because all I had to do was get dressed, walk down the stairs, and the boys were waiting for me at the door to walk into school. And the school is literally like at the top of our estate. Yeah. So it's like you walk around the corner of our estate and there's the school. And I remember getting out of that bed, getting into my clothes and thinking, do you know what it felt like was, do you know when you're really, really drunk and you're starting to get the spinners, but you just need to get you to your bed?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it was like. I needed to get him to school and back to bed as quick as I could before I puked.
So why didn't you let me take him when I offered?
Because you would work, you had stuff to do. Aimee works from home, so you were like getting ready to go on the phone lines. It was going to take me 2 minutes. I'd be home again in 2 minutes, I got as far as the corner and just started vomiting everywhere. And the 2 boys were just like, "Oh no." Oh, fairness to Riley though, he manned up and he was like, "Dad, you go home. I'll take Fionn from here." No, we could see the fucking school at this point. And I had only planned on taking them another like fucking yard or 2 before I turned around and went home anyway. But
They got there. Fionn was very concerned coming out of school.
oh man, that was a shitty day. The first day of it was bad. Mm-hmm. It was just like cramp, nausea, a bit of ease, back to cramp, nausea, bit of ease. And then since then, it's just been a lighter version of that for the last few days. It's not like I can't do stuff. I've been doing stuff. I've been down here fucking working on this and stuff. But
None of the rest of us have gotten it.
no,
I think it was food poisoning.
I don't know.
Maybe I tried to kill you.
Maybe you did. An investigation will be opened.
By me.
Oh no, I reckon Fiona, he'd be impartial. if he thought you did the crime, he'd rat you out.
He'd tell me it would be our secret, but then he would rat me out.
But for that reason, this week we're going to go a little bit more chilled out than our usual heavy tone. But I think we need to do that from now on. I think it needs to be 2 or 3 weeks of me fucking hitting heavy stories, and then...
You don't have to be heavy.
No, but I don't mean heavy. I mean story heavy, script heavy,
Okay.
big stories. And then I need a week where we talk stories that are a little easier to digest.
So like 3 weeks of hard-hitting journalism and then like your feel-good story.
Yeah,
Okay,
because my brain was fucking wiped after that. After the exorcism stuff.
It was a lot of it, in fairness. It was a lot.
It felt like, though, that too. Oh no, but I said that because we had been working on it since Christmas, because there hadn't been an episode since Christmas. It felt like what usually I do in a week lasted forever. It was like Ghostface all over again for me, because that lasted for months before we launched.
I'm looking forward to what's coming though.
What's fucked up is I've gotten into all that Ghostface stuff again since, like at least 2 more times. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched the Stab movies with my son since then. You know? All over again.
Yeah.
I can't get enough. But this week we have been dealing with crazy animals across the board, which is why I went with an ostrich and cat joke to start with. So
I like to hear about ostrich attacks.
ostriches freak me out.
They don't freak me out.
They freak me out. They look angry. But do you know why they freak me out? I think it's because of Dude, Where's My Car? With the crazy ostriches that attack them. And then the talk kind of got into my head of, well, if an ostrich did decide to fucking attack me with that aggression, what would I do? And they're in the whole pile you can do. They're a big animal. I mean, have you ever seen them?
Have you ever
close.
seen an ostrich?
There was ostrich farms
know,
all
I've seen an
over this
ostrich.
country for a while. I don't know how.
In Coolwood? Or are they emus?
Oh, yeah.
No, they were
No, they were more
ostriches.
emu.
Were they emus? I just think you might have a fear of things with long necks.
Yeah, I don't like giraffes. I don't
That's-
like... Yeah, I like giraffes. I like to look at giraffes, but when I saw that video of the giraffes chasing down the cat... Have you ever seen that
Yeah,
video?
I showed you.
Yeah, those people, and they're like driving, and the giraffe is literally like tearing trees down, fucking chasing down after him. And that's when I realized giraffes were something to be feared. Before that, I had no problem with giraffes, but as soon as I saw that video, I was like, oh shit, yeah, we need to stay fucking well clear of them.
That looks like a once in a blue moon kind of thing.
Elephants don't bother me though. I like elephants.
Elephants come back for revenge, Josh, after they've killed you. So, I mean,
we talked about that on Real Monsters this week.
real monsters.
Was it? Yeah, it was
Real Monsters.
We were talking about criminal animals.
Criminal animals, yeah.
But where was I going with that? Yeah, I don't like giraffes. No, because of that video. I'd go to the zoo and look at a giraffe. I wouldn't go running from it or anything like that.
Would you
But
go
I
into the
generally don't
reptile
like-
house, spider house?
I mean, like, I know I don't like big spiders,
Yeah.
but when they had tarantulas over in the pet store, they were all behind
They're
glass
fine, like.
cases. I went over and I had a look, no problem.
See, when we first met, I thought that I genuinely got the feeling from you that you wouldn't even be that close. Like, with glass
But I
between you.
told you there was that fear. Like, there was
Yeah.
a king, like, I hated it. If I saw a big, like, one of those hunter ones coming into the house, I used to freak the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
out. Do you know, which was funny because at the time I was also president of a fucking motorcycle club, so I was supposed to be the big tough guy, and there I was like running out of the room at the sight of a spider. But it was just the kind of thing of, there was that stage, you know, when you're in the early days of being an adult and you're broke all the fucking time, and I was taking jobs, any job I could get, and I was working with that guy clearing out fucking houses and sheds
Yeah.
and stuff like that, dead people's houses. We've discussed it
Yeah.
before when we were talking about the possibility of bringing ghosts into the house. But there was just a case of one day, I can't remember what it was, but we had some bill we had to fucking pay, and it was like we had to get it paid now. I don't know, was there something to do with the car or something? But you know, but again, this is like early on. You know, Riley was a baby, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember we went to this place and we'd clear out this shed. And this shed was overgrown and fucking old. It was just full of old stuff, and it was just covered in spiders. And I remember standing outside there, looking in there, and thinking to myself, I kind of just have to suck it up. If I want to get this bill paid, I gotta suck it up and just get on with it. And ever since then, they just haven't bothered me anymore.
But remember, you came home that evening and you were sitting on Riley's bed and you were all in black, and the three of us sitting there, and you were reading Riley a story, and you were all in black. And next thing, I could see this black thing running. It was that big, running across your arm. That was all in black, like it was that fucking big, and you took it off. They were huge. You brought them home with you, like.
But that was it. After that, it was just like, fuck. Because at the same time, if one came crawling up on me now, I'd jump up and I'd swat it off me and all that shit. But you've seen I've gotten even gentler when it comes to spiders. I used to be of the mentality before. I would just squash it the minute you see it. And now I see a spider and it's like, how can we get it out the door?
Yeah.
I'm getting soft in my old age.
Yeah. I think when we brought in the outside stuff, though, we had no choice but to accept that there would be spiders in this house.
What do you mean the outside stuff?
We brought in, there was a trike outside. Remember, we brought it into the playroom.
Oh, fuck me, yeah.
That was
this one time
that was bad.
One of the boys left their tricycle outside the back garden overnight during the summer. And the next day we bought it inside and we put it in the playroom. And one of us were passing. I think you were passing. You caught me.
Double take, yeah.
And it was like twilight kind of. So the sun was going down, and there was just the light was
golden hour, like
glistening into the playroom, and you could just see the web everywhere, just running all over the fucking room.
It was kind of pretty, but it was also
pretty,
disturbing.
But it was also like, oh shit!
Get the fuck back outside.
Get the Hoover. Get the fucking trike out of here. Get the
just
Hoover and just start fucking cleaning. Fuck me. So there are fucking animal horror stories, but insect horror stories. We don't have any insect horror stories.
Then I didn't learn my lesson that time, and I brought in another outside bike, the little fire engine one, and next thing I put it down in the middle of the kitchen to like clean it off, and there was just earwigs fucking everywhere. Everywhere falling out of it.
And we got a little mouse friend around here. We talked about him like in the last week or two. We can't catch this little prick. We've got traps down everywhere. We've got the humane traps. We've got the inhumane traps. Because if he's going to be cheeky, we got to put him down.
But he is cheeky. More than once, I've seen him nearly do a backflip and skid in the ground when he realises that we've seen him. Like,
peek out at us to see if we're looking, and if he catches us looking, he'll go away. And if he thinks we're not looking, then he'll make a run for it, and we'll catch him going under the fucking door. But I just can't catch him. There's nothing I can do to catch him. Remember last week we thought we had him in the bin. We heard him in the bin.
Yeah.
We closed the top of the bin. We got the bin outside, and then we realised he had put a hole in the bottom of our bin.
And the bin was gone. Yeah, he was gone.
And he was gone. Yeah, just gone.
By the time you released the chocolate finger into the
wild. Fucking mouse hunt. we're Lee Evans and that other dude. And
Mousetrap.
It's ridiculous.
Mouse hunt? Oh, Mousetrap is game. That's what it is.
But speaking of it, before we get into like animal attack stuff, have you had any negative experiences with animals?
A guinea pig bit me once.
Yeah? Your dad got bit by the ferret?
Oh, my dad got bit by a ferret. Oh my God. It was, no, I'm sorry, Dad. It was really awful. Like it was, but you see, my dad's he's a messer. Like he is a big joker. Yeah. And sometimes you don't know whether he's being serious or not. And he had ferrets when he was younger. And I came home one day from college for the weekend, and he's sitting there with 2 white ferrets. And he's like, do you want to sit down and hold him? And I was like, yeah, no bother. And I had one in my hand, and he's sitting across from me. And the ferret's up on his shoulder. And next thing, he starts like grabbing his earlobe, and he's going red. And he's like, the ferret's biting me. And the ferret's snout was in my dad's fist as well. And I was like, oh, he's taking the piss. And I was like, oh, yeah. And Dad's getting like redder and redder. And I was like, oh shit. So I had to go over, and obviously like they don't open their jaws once they bite.
Yeah,
so I had no choice but to grab this ferret and rip it from my dad's ear. Like I can still remember the noise of it, and there was blood everywhere.
And once they're bloodthirsty, once
they're bloodthirsty, yeah. Once they get to the taste for it all, so they lasted about a week, and then they found a nicer, not a nicer home, a better home
in the sky.
No, Josh. I actually think they were given to a guy that does ferreting services. So, yeah.
But to be fair to you, you don't know what your dad. There's like a lot of times where I just have to like give, like after dad says something, I have to stare at his expression for a good 5 to 10 seconds.
He's very good at holding it though.
To make up my mind whether he's taking the piss or whether he's being serious.
He's very good at keeping a straight face though.
Well,
I think it kind of clicked when he was nearly purple.
huh?
I kind of clicked when he was nearly purple, like that he wasn't messing.
No, and your dad would be very gentle when it comes to animals, especially.
Oh,
And
my God.
your
My dad loves animals.
Yeah, I think he gets on better with animals than he does with people half the time. Him and that fucking cat are like stuck to the hip.
Best boys. Yeah.
But I can't think of anything. I mean, I was more the fucking terror to the animals than the other way around when I was a child. Especially cows. All cows got it harder where we lived. See, the thing was, like, we live in a town, so it was weird. But do you know where the hospital is? The private hospital.
Did you go cow tipping?
No, you can't. I don't think it's a real thing.
And neither do I.
No, we used to chase this shit out of them. But basically, there was like this big wall in our estate, and went over the wall, like it's like between all these fucking regular urban housing estates. There's just one fucking field. And in that field, greyhounds were kept in little runs. Okay. And then there was cows, a bunch of cows kept. Don't know where the farm was. No idea where the farm was. No idea where the cows went and came. They were just there. Sometimes we'd look over the wall, the cows would be there. Sometimes they wouldn't. The field would be empty.
That's creepy.
So I don't know. But when they were there, we would plague them. Every time they got anywhere near to our wall, we'd go over. But then it would be like, the panic of trying to get, especially when we were smaller. Because the wall was a bigger wall, so you'd have to run up the wall to try and grab on and get over. Mm. And if there was a bull in there, it was always like the boys obviously start fucking pushing each other to go on, I dare you to go in, and everyone would be going in and trying to get out before the bull would fucking come over and all that. And no, I don't think the bull ever once made any attempt to come near any of us. But the way kids are.
Yeah.
He's coming, jump. But yeah, we drove those cows fucking demented. Sorry, they were getting sour milk from that place, definitely.
Poor cow.
I don't think I've ever been attacked by any animal.
Never attacked.
Not that I can think of. Had a few dogs run at me barking, but they never actually do anything.
We had a dog once that went missing. And we found him in the back field. But like my best friend, she lived like 2 doors down. But now 2 doors down in the country, like that kind of distance. And she had like 2 dogs that knew me, but they didn't like my dog because he was new. But like they were attacking him while I was lying like on him to stop him from attacking him. I suppose I was about maybe like 12 or 30. Yeah, Dad brought me to the pub afterwards and he was like, well, you'll never guess what happened tonight. But we were all out looking for him. And one of the lads that used to work for Dad kind of spotted me and he went like...
And the dogs left you alone?
The dogs, Blackie and what was the other guys? I can't remember. 2 big Labradors. They left me alone, but their teeth were bared and they were going right in under me to get at Oscar. But they didn't touch me because they knew me, I suppose.
That's mental.
Not once they touched me, actually. Yeah. And then we were best friends again afterwards, everybody.
Yeah? Yeah. Everyone was getting on, no problem.
Everybody got on, no problem.
But I find that crazy, like that, because Riley finds it amazing how Sammy around here will do anything I tell her to do. And even when any of you kind of roar something at her, she'll kind of give me a look first to see if she gets the nod to go do as she's been told by somebody else, unless I'm not in the house. Yeah. And it's crazy just how animals do have that fucking bred into them, that there's like someone in the house they look at, and for her it's you and me. Mm-hmm. She'll look at one of the 2 of us if the kids say something to see. And when we're not around, like Riley has said she will do as I've heard Riley roar fucking commands at her.
Oh yeah. Well, not just roar now, have to be heard.
Go to bed, Sammy. Yeah. And she'll just take off out. But it's
or like in the mornings when we're getting ready for school, he'll come down, but he'll like open the back door for her, and she listens to him now.
Well, it's just amazing how smart they are, how they just seem to fucking figure out how it all works, and just follow. I hate saying commands, but it is.
No, but I think it's intuition as well, because sometimes I just have to look at Sammy and it's nearly like a slight move of the like, come here, like that kind of way, and she knows, and she's over beside you. Like it's not
myself and that dog at this point have just looks. Yeah, she knows. Like if I look at her this way, it's okay to do that. If I look at her that way, and like last week when she came in here and pissed all over the rug, and after that she knew that. she wouldn't even look at me for about 2 days. She just, every time I glanced over at her, she'd look away as fast as she could.
You could nearly hear her internal monologue going, I'm sorry.
Well, we talk about that because, again, like I said, we're going to talk about real crazy animals today. Mm-hmm. And are you leading in? I know you're doing 2 before I do a big one at the end. But are you leading in with the dog or the bear?
I lead in with the dog.
I suppose we were just talking about dogs, so let's go with it. I actually know...
We'll progress. We'll go dog, bear, shark.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
But the dog kind of... I'll be honest with you, this story creeps me out because... Let's face it, the bear one you're going to get into next that most people know about already is a rare anomaly.
It's a 1 in a million billion.
But this dog thing is something that can happen very, very easily to anybody at any stage in time. So I find this to be almost like fucking just horror.
Well, just to put it into perspective for you, it's about a rabid dog. And rabies kills 59,000 people worldwide a year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How does rabies affect people? Does it affect us the same way as dogs? Do we go all fucking mental and zombie?
Oh, yeah. Now, there's not different types of rabies. You pretty much aren't recovering from rabies ever, no matter like how fast you catch it, like once you've got it. And it is actually scary because the incubation period, like you could, once it sets in, not sets in, but once it's there, it can take anywhere from 4 days to 6 years for shit to go south, like. So it could be brewing in you for 6 years and then the symptoms start to show, but there's no way. That's it. There's no way of diagnosing rabies until you have the symptoms. Okay. And then by the time the symptoms appear, I think maybe a handful, 14 or 15 people have ever fucking been recorded as survivors.
But what happens to you? Like?
So you get hallucinations, you get hydrophobia.
What's hydrophobia?
Hydrophobia is a fear of water.
Okay. So you just develop a fear of water.
Yeah, you can get uncontrolled excitement. Violent movements, vomiting, nausea, an inability to move parts of the body, confusion, loss of consciousness. But like, it's scary, the fear of water, because it's nearly like a sentient virus, nearly in that way, because it spreads through the saliva glands. So if you have a fear of water, you're not able to swallow things like that, you're not going to be wanting to drink. So all that is, it's building inside your mouth, like, because you're not washing it away, like.
Do you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
All the symptoms you just listed
are what you have had this week.
No. Fuck me, no. Thank God, no. But fucking Regan McNeil, The Exorcism. Hallucinations, in and out of things.
Who are not coming out of rabies.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying the similarities. 1 in a million chance maybe, but I mean, like, I suppose if you're that far along. But what I'm saying is, like, even down to what you say, the aversion to water, would that not explain the holy water fucking being the thing that made her freak out? Especially when Father Karras afterwards said that it wasn't holy water sprinkled on her at all, but regular fucking water. If the rabies is giving you an aversion to water, could that not have been the fucking thing that was like... obviously it wasn't, because they would have said, oh, she had rabies later. And said she's, this amazing person who survived this level of rabies and came back from it. And then it would have been some divine fucking thing, because the priests would have prayed the rabies away. But all I'm saying is, if I was a doctor and they were going through all those other things, I would have thought about maybe rabies. Especially when when the water thing came up. Like, oh yeah, she freaked out when holy water hit her. Or when she thought holy water hit her. Oh, she freaked out when water hit her. Maybe she's got rabies.
Yeah, I suppose if I was a doctor and told me that was shit, like...
Maybe she has rabies. She thinks she's a demon. Maybe she has rabies. She's in and out of consciousness. Maybe she has rabies. Yeah. Has she been around any fucking wild animals? Has she been bitten by a rat, a mouse, down that fucking...
Rodents are actually the least likely to carry rabies, believe it or not.
Do you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, they had that thing where the windows were wide open the night Bert Dennings died. Maybe a fucking bat came in and bit her. I mean, because I know that plays a big part in the story you're about to tell, so...
Bats, yeah. Dogs usually are they're the biggest spreaders of rabies, but bats are only a big spreader of rabies because their bites are so small that they go undetected a lot. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So,
okay.
yeah. So that's that. That's there.
But that's it. To be honest with you, when it came to rabies, I had always heard of it as a dog kind of disease.
Yeah,
I would have associated it with a disease for dogs. I wouldn't have thought of humans getting rabies. I wouldn't have thought of other animals get rabies, because anytime you saw it in TV or cartoons or movies, it was a rabid dog.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose Chris Benoit used to be the rabid Wolverine, so I suppose it could happen to any of them.
I think the statistic in America is that like 90% of rabies cases in humans are caused by dogs.
That is irony, right?
What's irony?
That Chris Benoit was called the rabid Wolverine and then eventually went absolutely batshit crazy and killed his whole family.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, back to rabies.
Okay, so the story basically centers around the Trentons. So they were Vic, Donna, and their son Tad. So Vic was working in advertising and Donna was just a stay-at-home housewife, and Tad was described as the type of sensitive boy that didn't, he was scared of monsters in his closet.
All right. Kind of like, Riley used to kind of be like that. I mean, since he got into watching horror, he's not so much. But when he was very, very young, he could have been. He used to be a bit sensitive. We had to start putting up the dream catchers and all this kind of shit around the place.
Oh, yeah.
We understand that kind of child.
So the Trenton family needed to repair their car, and they took it to the local mechanic, and that was Joe Camber, for some repairs. And there they met the star of the story, a dog named Cujo, St. Bernard.
That name.
Oh, I love the breed, St. Bernards. Yeah.
Cujo just sounds like a nice name, to be honest with you. You know what that means? I don't wonder, does Cujo have a meaning? Meaning of the name Cujo. Oh my god, there are baby names.
No.
What does Cujo mean in English? Okay, I don't... It seems to be a Portuguese thing? I don't know. It means... in dog names, it means loving, loyal, brave, and resilient. With compassionship and courage.
Well, that was a bit misnamed.
Huh?
Misnamed.
Okay. I don't know, you tell me.
I don't know. Anyway, I'll let you make your own mind up, I suppose. But, I should point out at this stage as well, because it does play in later into the story, that Vic and Donna, their marriage wasn't great at the time.
Okay.
And Donna was having an affair with her ex-boyfriend, Steve.
And what was, what did you say her husband's name was?
Vic.
Was Vic a bit of a dick?
No. I don't think so. I don't think Vic was a bit of a dick from what I've heard. There's been no
Donna was
there.
being a bit of a dick.
Donna was being a bit of a dick.
Oh, okay.
And so was Steve. Don't just blame Donna. Steve knew she was. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I've always had this debate, and who is really to blame in a cheating scenario? The person who is cheating on someone, or the person who is helping the person cheat?
They're both just as guilty as each other, though, I think.
Yeah. No, I admit they're both doing wrong, but I still think the person who is cheating is doing worse than the person who is helping them cheat.
But if you're a good person, you weren't.
If you're a good person, you wouldn't do it, but you're still single in this situation and not really at fault. Yeah. If you were good morals and you were a decent person, yeah, you'd be like, yeah, okay, I shouldn't probably do this, but But
then if you watch The Bridges in Madison County, I'd never say Clint Eastwood is an asshole.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you should watch it.
Yeah, it sounds like my kind of movie. It's one of those movies that Amy would be like, let's watch. And 10 minutes in, she'd be asleep and I'd be sitting there watching some fucking romance. I do. If I want to watch Clint Eastwood, it's not in a romance.
He's okay. Fine. Fine, I'll watch it myself.
Watching him in Dirty Harry or fucking something.
Anyway, so where was it? Oh yeah, they had taken their car to Mr. Camber. We call him Joe because I can't keep saying that name. Mr. Camber. So to Joe for some repairs, and they met Cujo there. And Donna said that she had noticed at the time that Cujo had a bite in his nose, but it was only like a tiny little mark. And
very observant Donna, huh?
Well, I suppose the dog was over. The dog was supposed to be very friendly at this stage, over playing with them. And obviously, if Tad
Suppose,
Yeah.
when you see a dog with a bit of a mark,
That
a bit of
friendly,
cut,
yeah.
you do kind of notice it. Yeah. People are way more sympathetic to dogs than that. Because
yeah.
Riley and myself talked about it lately when he watched Halloween, the first one, the 1970s one. And for most of that, I think I mentioned it on one of the Patreon shows or on the Weekend Update, but he was all for the movie until fucking Michael Myers killed the dog, and it was like, Dad, why did he kill the dog? And it was like, well, he just killed about 4 or 5 people before this. And he's like, oh yeah, so he did. But now I hate him because he killed the dog. That's it. Once he killed the dog, he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
All the people beforehand, they were just
Yeah.
disposable. And a lot of people feel that way. People fucking have no... Like we talked about Barry Keoghan. Or whatever he calls himself. His second name, I don't know. Okay, it's Keoghan. You're Irish, man.
Keoghan.
Keoghan? I don't know any Keoghans in Ireland.
I do without a H.
Anyway, to most of the world, he is like this super... He got introduced as this massive actor on the Hollywood stage. To Irish people, he was introduced to us as that little scumbag fuck that shot the cat in fucking Love Hate that everybody hated.
I forgot he shot the cat as well.
He was on the front page of every Irish tabloid. Every granny in Ireland, every fucking animal activist in Ireland hated his character, hated him, and fucking he was slayed. I think he himself even said like that he had grannies giving up to him in the street.
Serious?
And it was obviously a fake fucking scene. It's a gangster show called Love Hate, and he was supposed to be a teenager holding a gun for one of the other gangsters, and he was showing off to his friends, so he shot the cat in the estate. And poor Barry ends up getting a bullet in his head for his troubles before the end of that season. But that was the start of his career for us.
Spoiler.
Over here. What?
I said spoiler, not spider.
It's a spoiler. I was like, what?
You should have seen him jump.
I wouldn't mind, right? The boys had this spider that they made for Halloween.
Oh,
this
it got
big
me
black
the other
thing.
day as well, yeah.
Oh, I've dumped it now. It has caught me 3 times last week because I thought it was gone for ages. It was like we put it away. So I think it got stuck behind one of the chairs in the fucking kitchen.
Okay.
And I was cleaning the shit out of the place the last day. And next thing, I'm pulling apart like the cushions on the chair. And next thing, this big black spider jumps out at me. I'm like, oh shit! Because this isn't like a regular size.
No,
this is
tarantula.
fucking big
Bigger than tarantula,
size.
yeah.
So I jumped. It's a piece of paper that's in the shape, a black piece of paper in the shape of a spider.
The thing about them is if they get crumpled at all, they look like they're up on legs.
And then the next day, 2 days later, I'm like hoovering around the same chair, and it fell down the back of the chair again. And I jumped, and I was like, "No, fuck you!" And I just crumpled it up.
So why are you just having to take the Hoover back?
It is gone into the bin. It is gone. Anyway, Cujo and his bite mark on his nose.
And a bite mark on his So, but Donna said that she had noticed it, but that he was happy, he was friendly, he was playing with Tad. So, like, what of it? So they left the car there, and Donna was to go back. After a few days to collect it, and Vic was gone off on. He worked in advertising, so he was gone off on this business trip.
No.
Yeah, but in the meantime, while Joe had the car repairing, Cujo was getting worse.
Okay.
And Joe's wife and son went off to visit her sister for a few days, so they were gone out of the house.
Yeah.
And then the dog, it really set in, and it killed Joe, and it killed his neighbour, who obviously came over to visit Joe after Joe was killed, and that was Gary Purvier.
It's just mauled him, like.
Mauled him. Yeah, he'd go crazy.
Fucking ripped their throat out. Fucking absolutely batshit crazy. Oh, man, that'd be...
Absolutely batshit.
And so this is like Beethoven gone fucking wild.
Yeah, exactly it. Yeah.
Ooh.
I prefer Beethoven. So after...
Oh, that's a movie idea.
What?
We could pitch that idea, right? We'll take this story of this wild dog Cujo, and we'll have Cujo versus Beethoven.
Okay.
Like Freddy versus Jason. It'll be awesome.
How is Beethoven winning?
Huh?
I feel like Beethoven, because Beethoven's not coming out of that one.
Yeah.
With Cujo.
Let's see.
So Donna and Tad went back to collect the car from Joe. But they find Joe dead, and they get into the car.
Find a bit of Joe over here, a bit of Joe over there, a bit of Joe down there.
Everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. And they realize that Cujo's got absolutely fucking nuts, and they try to get into the car. Well, they do get into the car, but they try to escape.
Okay.
Yeah. And the alternator died.
Oh, I know that feeling. That's happened to me before. That's not nice.
No. So they are stuck in this car with the rabid dog, with Cujo absolutely fucking losing its mind. And the thing about with rabies is, as well as particular, I don't know if this one happens to humans. I presume it must though. But with dogs, loud noises freak them the fuck out. So they could be like, you know, through like a lull period of like, you know, just being asleep, and next thing they hear a loud noise and they're back to this like ferocious
rabid, like just
exactly.
Well, question for you. So this happened. What year did this happen in? Did you say?
1977.
Oh, even the decade is just. I'm wondering. So there's no phone or Wi-Fi here. Like
there was a phone in the house.
No, but I mean, there's no phone in their pocket. So I'm just wondering, how long would it take the rabies to kill the dog? How long would they have to stay in this car without food and water to outlive the dog?
Rabies, usually, I actually have a statistic for that here. Rabies kills anywhere from...
Dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air. So I'm just going to sing for a while.
It was, I can't find her. It was, I think it was between like 6 to 9 days.
Okay. Yeah, you can't survive that. Not now. Where were they from? LA? Was it LA?
Texas.
So it's hot as
oh my
fuck.
God. I mean, like, it was so hot in this car at the time that Tad, he started having convulsions.
Is it like summertime or what?
It was pretty much the height of summer.
Oh.
Yeah.
So hot. So if you don't have water that day, you're probably dead.
Or you're dying of heat stroke or dehydration.
Okay.
Yeah. So every time Donna tried to escape, Cujo would hear. Or else the phone would go off inside the house, Donna said at one stage. But
and
Vic...
driving fucking bonkers.
Exactly. And Vic, in the meantime, had been trying to call as well because he wasn't getting any answer from at home. Like, so...
He wanted to see if she had made it out there. To
get the car.
Something that happened in the meantime.
Yeah.
I have something that happened on the way beforehand or on the way
but
back.
when Cujo was hearing the phone, he was freaking out. So it was pretty much a fucking vicious circle for her. So then in the end, she's kind of like, Tad is convulsing. And, you know, as a parent, like, you're like, right, well, gotta do it.
Suck it up
and go. But Cujo bit her on the leg when she did manage to get out of the car. So she's forced back inside the car.
Would that give her rabies?
It can. But the fact that she knew that she would be bit by a rabid dog, she'd be able to get treatment before the symptoms set in. See, that's the thing. Like,
symptoms could set in so quick that you're fucked. Like, I mean,
it's not so quick that you're fucked. It's just that once symptoms set in, if you don't know that you've been infected by rabies, once symptoms set in, you're fucked because it's the only way to know that you have rabies. Okay. But if you have been bit with something that has been identified that has rabies,
which is usually why if you're bit by something. But if you're bit by a wild animal,
you go
general,
straight. Yeah,
especially
you go
in America, like, they will instantly fucking.
That's it, like, because you don't know what it was carrying.
For rabies, because it's like we don't know if they have.
But then it can lie dormant.
For rabies instantly.
Exactly, but it's not that it kills you instantly. It can lie dormant in your system for up to 6 years, and then say, "Oh well."
But that's why they test you for it straight away. If you're bitten by an animal over there.
Exactly, but it can, like, if you're a dog in America. It's actually dangerous in America to have a fucking dog. If your dog sneezes on you and it has rabies, and like one of those like saliva particles gets into your eye, gets into your mouth, that's easily transmissible that way as well. Like,
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So in the end, she made another attempt again at getting out of the car, but Cujo heard the phone ring this time, and so she went back in. And then Vic came home to Donna because he was so worried.
Okay.
He came back to the house. When he got back to the house, he found the house ransacked, and obviously Donna and Tad not there. So he knew that Donna had been having an affair with Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, so he put it down to Steve.
Oh, he reckons Steve had done something to
He
Donna.
reckoned that Steve had done something to Donna and made off with him.
Because Steve had trashed the house. Why did he trash the house? Did she break up with him or something?
She broke up with him. Yeah, exactly. So when Vic came home, he saw the house trashed, and he knew that she had
Donna
put
had
an
been
end to it.
trying to mend her ways
Exactly.
and fix her marriage and all this kind of shit. And this guy decided fuck her when he got to the house and there was no one there. He trashed the shit out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
but when
makes
Vic
him
called the
look
cops,
guilty as fuck when the wife goes missing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good when the ex-lover, the jilted lover, trashes the house and the man, the woman is missing.
So when Vic's called the cops and they went and they found Steve, and Steve admitted to trashing the house, but he didn't have any idea where Donna and Tad were. And that's when it clicked with Vic that they had to be over at Cambers or Joe's house. So they sent over one of the deputies, and a few hours passed and there was no sign of the deputy coming back. So they reckon that the deputy get into the house, he finds Joe's dead, he takes out his gun. This is what they think happened. That he took out his gun, tried to shoot Cujo, but Cujo attacked him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cujo's got like 3 people on his body count at this point.
3 people, yeah.
This rabid dog has killed 2 people and a cop now at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking
exactly. So Donna could hear all this going on, and she knew that Cujo, he was distracted at this stage. And she took the opportunity then at that stage to go to the house to try and get some water for Tad. I think the aim was to go to the house to get water to bring it back.
Yeah.
Because he was so bad. But then Cujo clicks that she's after getting out of the car again. And he comes running at her. But she managed to get a baseball bat. And it broke in half.
Okay.
But then she stabbed Cujo through the chest with it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so she was able to go to the house then. Oh, but before that, this is how they know that the cop must have tried to shoot Cujo. She managed to get her hands on the cop's gun that she said was lying in the middle of the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, and she managed to make her way over to the house. But she brought Tad with her this time. Obviously, I would have done the same. Dog's fucking dead. Dog's fucking dead, like. And she brings Tad in. She said she was giving him water. And he was starting to come around because he'd stopped breathing in the meantime. He was starting to come around. And next thing, Cujo came running back in.
Fucking hell.
Into the house.
Night of the living fucking dead dog.
But luckily, she had the gun on her this time.
Okay.
So just blew the dog away.
And before you all feel bad about the dog, it had rabies. It was
going to die one
anyway.
way or the other.
And it was a murderer. It had killed three people already.
Can you call it a murderer?
Huh?
If a human had rabies and it went around killing people.
You probably get off on a technicality there.
Well, you're dying in about 5 days anyway. But
oh yeah. But yeah, you if you manage to survive it, you'd definitely be diminished responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Saying that, if you check out my mini monsters this week, there was a bunch of weevils that were brought to court over some shit. So I mean, you never know. It depends on what country and what generation you're born into. To be honest with you.
yeah.
I've also done a piece on some donkeys that did 3 days hard time. So.
Oh God.
That's mini monsters every Thursday and Friday.
Sounds like fun this week.
It's usually very deadly serious.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like fun
I mean, that
this
is the
week.
most serious
There's
show
me
I
getting
do.
to talk every week about things like souls being in demons' anuses
And I'm
and they're
just
your
listing off dead
serial
bodies.
killers.
I'm just doing the fucking the morning fucking what are they? Those death announcement, the funeral
Obituaries?
Obituaries. That's literally what it feels like doing.
So Irish.
Historical obituaries with fucking Dr. Smokenstein.
I start to worry if like
only thing
radio
is there-
carries on at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're sitting down listening to
The only thing is the obituaries are all from the one person's fucking body of work.
and they didn't necessarily happen in the last few days.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're historical obituaries. That's Cujo. That's one fucking crazy dog. But is it weird that I still want to get a St. Bernard and call it Cujo? No,
I'd like
more
to get
than
a Saint
ever.
Bernard. I don't want to call it Cujo.
I have made my mind up that when I get my my little British bulldog, he's going to be called Chewbacca. Chewy for short.
Yeah, I like that. I think it suits the St. Bernard better.
No, that's got to be Cujo. Cujo.
I also thought Cujo. Yeah. Yeah, I
Cool
suppose.
fucking name.
I think it would suit an Alsatian more.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. After hearing about it as the same part, it just has that look about it. That or Beethoven, but Beethoven's been overused. The fuck with those names.
Beethoven.
With those dogs, I mean.
Imagine having to get angry with your Beethoven sounding. Beethoven.
Bad Beethoven. That's the wrong symphony. He's a musician, right? Yeah. I got
Who, the dog?
Yeah. He's got some classics, isn't he? Was he deaf? He was deaf, wasn't he?
He was deaf. He went deaf. He
Or
didn't
was
start
that
off
Mozart?
deaf. No, that was Mozart was a bit like Vince McMahon, apparently. But
Pooping on people.
yeah. And
For
Beethoven
more
was
on
deaf.
that, fucking check out the Weekend Update this week. We're going to talk Vince McMahon, Kiss My Ass Love,
No.
and pooping on his needs and turns. Oh my God, I can't believe. Don't even get me started on that guy, because we will be recording for the rest of the fucking night. It's shit's fucking mind-boggling.
Yeah, I was like, did I dream Josh told me that?
Oh, I mean, this is someone I watched. This is what it must have felt like for the people of the 60s with Jimmy Savile, to be honest with you. It's just like, this is someone you have watched on TV for years, who's played a bit of a sleazy character but gotten away with it for
But
years.
he is a fucking
and years,
sleazy
and now it just
character in
turns
real
out
life.
he
He's
is
just playing
worse than
himself.
you've ever imagined. Oh God, we'll have fun with that tomorrow when we talk about it.
No.
Anyway, what you got next on the list?
The next one I have on the list is about a bear that had a really good night.
Oh yeah, I think everybody's heard of this one. This one did the rounds on the media big time. Mm-hmm. Yep. But I know his name too. I know his name. You people call him the cocaine bear, but he is. Go on, you can say it. You're dying to say it.
Pablo Escobear.
Oh, I love it.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You like the podcast? Want some more? Then head on over to our Patreon page where for just €5 a month you get up to 12 extra shows in that month, along with piles of mini-sodes covering fun facts from the world of horror and true crime. Each week we drop multiple shows such as Real Monsters, where we look at the inspiration behind the movie killers, or Behind the Mask, where we take a look at the influential people and happenings in the world of Hollywood. All this, plus movie reviews, watch-alongs, and regular AMAs. That means ask me anything. You really do get a bang for your buck. And by bang, I mean like podcast. I'm not soliciting or anything. Shit. Moving on. For just €5 a month, all this could be yours. So head on over to www.patreon.com/IAApod. That's www.patreon.com/IAApod and start listening now.
Okay, so basically this guy, Andrew Thornton, he was flying home with a load of cocaine in his plane and his plane was too heavy. So he threw all the cocaine off overboard and himself because the plane was starting to go down. So while he was on the way out, he knocked his head off the door of the plane.
Ooh.
Yeah, coming out. So obviously there was nobody there to open his parachute and he fell onto the ground and killed himself.
Oh, I've actually watched a bit of a documentary about this, and I heard the guy give all about it as well. He was, he said he looked out the window in the morning, saw someone lying in his back garden, and called the cops, and basically said, "If you don't get this trespasser off my yard, I'm going to go out there and shoot him."
That's Tennessee for you. Yeah,
The guy was already dead. Fuck me.
yeah.
Right.
He was not happy. So anyway, when this guy called the guards, Detective Bob, that's all I could find about him.
Bob.
Detective Bob.
Shit. You think you'd find more about it?
Bob shits. Yeah. So he came and he was kind of leading the investigation, and he concluded that looking at the body and the connections, that this cocaine must have come from this kingpin drug lord guy, Sid White, and that there had to be more.
So they've been after this guy. This guy was a bit of a Pablo Escobear himself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So meanwhile, in the Chattahoochee, Oconee National Forest, there was this big black American bear that had become highly aggressive and started attacking two hikers.
I think they prefer the term African American bear now.
They're fucking Stop it, because I'm going to lose my train of thought and it's going to be a shit show.
Okay, go on.
So Elsa and Olaf.
No way.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way.
Elsa and Olaf are killed by... No, one of them is killed by the bear. And Elsa. And that kind
freeze
of...
it.
And Olaf went running off. I'm going to hand over the laptop to you in a second.
Go on.
And so that was the start of the bear's spree, because the bear had found the rest of the cocaine that Bob was looking for. Yeah.
So the bear was in party mode.
The bear was absolutely in party mode.
The bear was going pear-shaped. Giving his socks in the middle of the fucking woods. Doing that whole big little box dance and all that shit.
Yeah, so while the bear was raving, there was two kids that had went, they were ditching school for the day. So that was Liz and...
To go take coke with the bear.
Yeah. But it wasn't Liz. It was Dee Dee and a little guy called Henry. So they're in the forest anyway, and Dee Dee gets chased off by the bear. And Henry loses his shit, and he's like running around trying to find a way out of the forest, basically. But Dee Dee's school, in the meantime, had called her mom and let her know that there was no sign of the kids at school. So she decided to go and look, because she knew that they were going... had basically had an idea of where they were going from what she was talking to. They were known for
going to the woods. They like to play in the woods, essentially.
Yeah,
what they're saying.
kinda.
So it's like, that's it. If you're going to go look for the kids, this is where to go look for them.
Yeah, so exactly. So the mother, she went off looking for the kids, and she met Liz, the park ranger, and Peter, who was a wildlife activist. And he was coming in to inspect the park and make sure everything was safe for the wildlife and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, the
health and safety kind of guy, but for animals, I suppose.
What was Yogi Bear's park ranger named again?
Well, Liz was the park ranger.
Okay, who's Liz?
That I just mentioned was the park ranger.
Oh yeah.
Liz is the park ranger, and then Peter, he was a wildlife activist.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were going out to do the trails because, like I said, Peter was basically like health and safety nearly for the animals.
Okay.
An inspector. So they said that they'd bring Dee Dee's mom with them so that they can go look for the kids.
So it's like a national park. It's
like one of these
have a lot of visitors.
These big places. Yeah. So they're out anyway. They're walking up to these waterfalls that they suspect that the kids must have gone to, and they come across Henry, freaking out.
Okay.
That Dee Dee had been chased off by this massive bear.
Fuck me.
Yeah. So they're calming him down, and Dee Dee's mom said Peter wasn't believing, the wildlife activist wasn't believing him at first, that he was kind of like, well, bears don't do that and bears don't do this, and
What is the rules of that again? Is it
different species, I think. Lay down.
If it's black, fight back. Is that how it goes?
I think they just need a cuddle.
Because I know you're supposed to stand up tall against one
of them,
curl up in a ball. Like they suggest that you have a big backpack on you, so that like when you curl up in a ball on the ground and the bear comes over it, it'll be clawing at your backpack.
Yeah, exactly.
They said like regardless, you will get injured when they come over. They will claw at you and stuff. Mm-hmm. You just have to stay rolled up in that ball and not play dead.
Yeah,
so that's it.
Exactly.
And then the other type, you just have to make yourself as big as possible and show a lot of balls.
Yep. So anyway, when they found Henry, the bear decided to attack again, and that sent Henry up a tree. Peter, the wildlife activist, also went up a tree, and Dee Dee's mom hid behind a tree.
It just sounds like the legendary bear in Red Dead Redemption 2, to be honest with you.
Nah.
I had war with that bear.
So did Liz.
Yeah.
The park ranger. So yeah, there is a bit of a shootout with the bear that didn't really amount to much, with the bear getting hurt.
I was going to say that in Red Dead Redemption, you can be fucking rattling that bear with bullets and it'll keep running at you. And I always wondered, and I think we talked about it because we talked a bit more deeply about this story on on Real Monsters this week.
Yeah.
And on Behind the Mask. I think this story kind of managed to make its way onto all three of our shows in one way or another. And we were talking about I was asking you about like what damage would a bullet do because a bear is so thick. Do you know how like far will the bullet get in? Will it hit a vital organ? Will it hit the right? You know, will it put him down? How big does the bullet have to be? Like, do you know?
Yeah.
I don't think a regular handgun is going to put a fucking bear down unless you get a
I would
square between
assume,
the eyes.
if you were like point blank
In the head.
Yeah.
But I think in a body shot, I would say the bear would have a good chance of surviving for a while. He'd have enough time to fucking kill you.
Do you think you're better off with a tranquilizer gun?
If the tranquilizer worked really fast, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd want to have it shot and it just like falls at my feet. You know, it doesn't. I don't need it to take effect over
I wonder
time.
how fast though the tranquilizer would work on a cooked up bear.
Oh yeah.
Or will it give it a heart attack?
Fucking upper and downer. Jesus.
That's dodgy. Oh yeah, so they reckon that the bear anyway, he was addicted to cocaine at this stage because when he decided to attack Henry and the gang, Peter, the wildlife activist, he obviously went running. He ran through some of this coke that had been dropped out of the plane that the bear got its hands on. So when himself and Henry were up opposite trees, the bear went straight for Peter.
Because he was covered in the coke.
Because he had been, I don't think it was like absolutely covered from head to toe. I think he obviously, got a bit on him, brushed it off. But bears obviously they have a really good sense of smell.
I pointed this out on Real Monsters as well,
Yeah.
about the sharks who became
they
addicted to
became
cocaine
addicted.
and became frenzied in the water, and it was proven by throwing bales that the police threw bales that looked identical to bales that the smugglers had been dumping into the water when they thought they were about to be boarded by the Coast Guard, and the sharks just came up and ripped the shit out of it, ate it right up, thinking it was coke, and they had like an increase in attacks in that area because of it. So I mean, obviously these animals do like it, but I can't imagine that amount of cocaine is good for a bear.
No. Definitely not. So there's a couple of other more attacks after that. Liz had gone back to the cabin to send for help. The bear followed her back. She was killed. A few other youths on site, but they were kind of not vagrant, but they were kind of mischievous, dodgy youths. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you that. How many people are fucking around here at this point? Because we're talking about Busy Park, but at the moment you've listed Liz, this activist guy. There's these two kids, the kid's mom. The cops are inside. There's at least two cops walking around the place looking. Is there one or two cops walking around the place looking for
two
clues on drugs?
Yeah. Then
and this crazy bear, and there's a few of these fucking drug addicts fucking pissing about the place.
And then Sid, the guy that owns the coke, that Detective Bob reckoned, Sid White, he sent his son and one of his goons in to have a look for this coke as well.
Basically to salvage what was there, what they could.
Exactly. So Liz, as we said, she's dead. The youths are dead. The paramedics that she called to come and save everybody, the bear got to them as well. Okay.
How
the
did
bear
this
got
bear
to
not
them,
just...
but they actually got away in the ambulance with Liz still alive, and it was basically he must have caused the ambulance to crash because Liz fell out and her face got basically taken off.
He chased the fucking thing down.
He chased the ambulance down, and she fell out of the ambulance, still attached to the gurney. Her face just gone from the road. Yeah, and then the other two were mauled by the bear.
Why is the bear so hungry? I mean, like, I understand. I know that when you smoke cannabis, you get hungry, but I heard, like, traditionally, haven't you heard, like models and stuff taking a load of coke so that they don't eat and they stay skinny? Isn't that, like, kind of a...
Would it make you... If a bear's favourite thing to do, though, is to eat... Do you think if you were taking a lot of coke and your favourite thing to do in the whole wide world was, I don't know, like paint, do you think you'd be like painting non-stop? But if you're a bear and like, if you're not sleeping and you're not like reproducing, your next favourite thing to do is eat, so I'm just going to go mad and eat.
Maybe. Or hunt.
Or hunt. And this took place, it was
he's
fall.
actually fucking eating the whole thing, just ripping him up more than anything.
But the thing is, he would be hungry because he's coming into hibernation season. This happened like kind of fall, that kind of way.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's collecting up meat for the fucking winter.
Could be. I mean, I'm just thinking here, but I mean, it could be. You wouldn't know.
Took a couple of lines. He's like, you know, it'd be a great idea. Let's just stock up for the winter. Let's do this. No.
Exactly. So, in the meantime, the Detective Bob found some of this cocaine, and there was a bit of a standoff in the forest with Detective Bob and Sid's henchman and son.
Okay.
Then, obviously, the bear
sniffed them out
and came in, kind of swinging.
Would a bear have like a sense of smell that good that like it could be in another area of the woods but be able to smell that coke is there in that area? And
I'd say so.
Come that way, like
I would think so.
I would assume so. Yeah, I suppose if they're hunters, like Okay, so these guys now are in a standoff with each other. Good guys versus bad guys, but they got this bear to deal with at the same time who also wants it. So it's the Mexican standoff between a bear, a cop, and a fucking pair of gangsters for one big bag of coke.
Exactly. And they were lucky they had that bag of coke because Bob used that bag of coke to distract the bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
But then Sid shot him. So at least not a bear.
Yeah. Oh, Sid was there too?
Yeah, well, like his son wasn't the most reliable gangster and he still hadn't gotten his coke back yet, so in case it having to follow up, like
okay, make sure
get
that
his hands dirty. Yeah,
follow the investment, make sure he gets his money back,
exactly. And like obviously he'd have had pressure from the man above him as well.
See, that's the thing, like I mean, just because there was a fuck up with the delivery doesn't mean he isn't still going to have to pay that bill. So it's what I assume is millions.
Oh, I think it was valued about 15 million.
Yeah?
Yeah, 15 million.
And that's in the 80s?
That's in the 80s. This is 1985. Yeah. In the meantime, Dee Dee's mom and Henry came across Olaf, whose girlfriend Elsa had been killed. And then he said that he reckoned that he knew where Dee Dee was. And he went to take him, and they came across this cave. And sure enough, Dee Dee was inside the cave. And then the bear came and killed Olaf.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So Olaf went with Olaf.
He left the cave, basically. He was going walking, but he didn't get too far. Maybe like 2 or 3 steps outside the cave. And then the bear got him.
But he's gone with Elsa.
He's gone with Elsa. So they're reunited again.
Let it go.
So then Sid, Eddie, and David. I never actually said his name before now. That was the henchman.
Oh, okay.
They find the cave, and that it led to a ledge that came out behind the waterfalls where the kids were going. And then again, the bear came back into the cave. And so Dee Dee's mom,
Holy
Henry,
shit, I just realised something because I got confused. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
But because you brought up what's his name popping up, and I did Sid popping up, I forgot you mentioned that he shot fucking Bob.
Yeah.
So is Bob dead?
Bob. Shit, he is.
Shit. Okay, back to the cave.
Okay, so they jumped out into the 3 of them jumped out into the waterfall, and they were followed by Eddie and David, who apparently they had chosen to quit the drug business, according to Dee Dee's mom afterwards.
To be fair,
I would probably quit the drug business.
If a day of your job is you following a fucking drug-addled bear to find the rest of your stash, I'm thinking there's easier ways to make money.
Well, to be honest, if I was Sid's son after what happened to Sid, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm leaving this behind.
What happened to Sid?
Because Sid, obviously feeling the pressure from up above, decided not to leave the cocaine, and he shot the bear when the bear returned. And it did wound the bear, but didn't kill the bear. And Sid ended up getting disemboweled and fed to the cubs for dinner.
Oh, the cubs. It was cubs. It was Mama Bear.
Mama Bear, yeah.
So Mama Bear was a cokehead.
Mama Bear just needed to let her hair down at night, was all.
Did the cubs get any of the coke?
Oh, I bet you they'd be cute cubs like in Brave if they got their hands on the coke. Extremely mischievous. So, yeah. That's
the story of the cocaine bear.
The 3 jumped out of the ledge from behind and got into the waterfall safe and sound, and they made off. And I suppose they were all distracted and feeding on Sid.
And Sid got all the blame for this. I assume his son and David kind of seemed. Did they do any time for this, or did they?
I've not from what I can
Or are
see.
these David a pseudonym? Is this guy kind of hidden maybe?
I would think that they are. Yeah, because I mean, like even Detective Bob, I can't find much on Detective Bob, and Bob's a very generic
Maybe
name.
they were trying to keep the whole fucking cocaine fucking... I mean, if I was the US government, I wouldn't want people to know that one of my national parks had a fucking drug-addled bear in it.
I also wouldn't want drug addicts to know that one of my national parks is riddled with cocaine. So come on, everybody.
Oh, I could still be there.
Well, 1985, it's probably washed away. It's
It
gone.
wouldn't be much good.
They'd want to check what the offspring of the animals were like since 1985.
Oh, Christ. Cocaine bear.
And now I get to listen to you.
Oh, well, we were talking about cocaine shacks. Mm-hmm. So this shack, I don't think was on cocaine, and I think it's a damn good thing it wasn't on cocaine, because we'll be getting into a guy that got nicknamed Jaws next.
Ooh.
Okay, it's honesty time. We have a confession to make. We suck at socials, no good at Insta, can't send a tweet or an X or whatever that super villain looking motherfucker is calling it now. Stick to your space cars, Elon. But we know you want to chat. You want to be kept updated. You want to be alive all the goddamn time. So we're getting down from the antisocial soapbox and giving this a try. So come chat to us on Insta and Twitter at AliveAlivePod, or hit us up by email at itsalivealivepod@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. This is a project. It's still a work in progress, and we just want to give you more what you like and less of what you can't stand. So give us a like, give us a follow. We'll always hit you back, and we'll always try to reply to everyone. So come say hi. We don't bite. Well, at least Amy doesn't. And she keeps me well fed, so you got nothing to worry about. Now, back to the show.
So during an evening party on a New England coast, Chrissy Watkins and Tom Cassidy decided to sneak away and go for a skinny dip in the ocean. Tom, quite drunk, passed out on the sand before he could even undress. But Chrissy, undeterred, stripped down and dived right into the surf. When Tom woke, Chrissy was nowhere to be found, and she wouldn't be seen again, at least not in one piece.
Yuck.
You see, in the summer of 1975, the idyllic beach town of Amity was terrorized by a creature unlike any they had ever seen. A great white shark estimated to be over 25 feet long and weighing in at a whopping 3,000 pounds. The beast, which locals nicknamed Jaws, had developed a taste for human flesh and was about to leave a trail of blood and fear in its wake. Do you know what I found out this week that surprised me? What Amity meant.
Friendship.
Yeah, so it's basically because I'm finding it very hard to get through the story without saying Amityville. But now that I know Amityville means Friendsville, it makes it a whole lot scarier. Welcome to Friendsville. You can stay here with us
Could you play
forever and ever.
Friendsville on Facebook at one stage? Wasn't that a thing? Friendsville.
I have no idea. I never played any of those stupid Facebook games.
Oh, I used to play the vampire one.
I know everybody got into the farm one for it. Was not Farmville?
Farmville, I did in college. I used to wait for my grapes and my potatoes so I could harvest them.
Riley was getting shitty about that earlier on. He was like, he was inside playing a game on his phone. I was like, what's that game? It looks pretty cool. And he was telling me about the game. He was like, the only problem is you only get to play like one level every 6 fucking hours. Or well, he didn't say fucking. Every
You better
6
not
hours.
have
Every
fucking
6
said.
hours. He was like, it's alright, levels are long, but it's such a wait. They're not paying for you. Shit.
No.
Amity, a seaside town, was preparing for the upcoming Independence Day weekend, their most financially lucrative time of the year. The community depended on tourism as a major source of economic support, and they waited eagerly for each summer to arrive when herds of mainlanders came to savor Amity's shores.
Again.
Fucking hell. Amity's chief of police, Martin Brody, received a call at home regarding Chrissy Watkins' disappearance. Following the report made by Tom Cassidy that she was last seen off the coast, Brody, along with his deputy Jeff Hendricks, began their search on the beach. It was Hendricks who first stumbled upon the segmented remains of Chrissy washed up on the shore and being feasted upon by crabs.
That freaks me out. Crabs eating people.
Oh, the fact that the shark eating her, or they had nothing but the crab eating what was left over.
No, but I mean, like, is that not like a really awful thing in your head of like decaying flesh and these crabs all over?
One of the reasons I want to be fucking cremated is because I don't like the idea of being in a box eaten by insects. So.
Oh, I was about to say there's no crabs getting you where you're going for buried.
No, but there's maggots and worms. And
I like the idea of being planted as a tree.
Oh, I think that's cool.
I think that's cool. My only thing is, though, what if, like, your whole nervous system and all that, and then, like, comes to cutting that tree down?
Yeah, I don't know. I like our current idea where we both get cremated and mixed in together. Because we were talking about doing that sand thing or the sand
get
thing
married.
when we get married. And to have our ashes mixed in together and to become one in death.
Unless it's like that Doctor Who.
Well, what's the Doctor Who thing?
Where like they get cremated, but like how you go is like how you are in the next life. So the people that are getting cremated are literally like screaming all through the next life. It was the one with the mistress. Haha.
We'll scream together.
Aww.
And you forget my name's the Doctor now, so maybe I'll sort it out. Back at the police station, a call from the coroner confirmed that Chrissy Watkins was the victim of a shark attack. Fearing for the safety of Amity's many swimmers, Brody immediately set out to close the beaches until further investigations could be conducted. His intentions were quickly noticed by Mayor Larry Vaughan, who, fearing for the income loss that would result from closing the beach at such a pivotal point in the summer, attempted to convince Brody that a shark attack is too hasty of a conclusion. He persuaded him and the coroner to change Chrissy's official cause of death to mutilation by boat propeller. Despite this setback, Brody remained dedicated to the safety of Amity's citizens and tourists, regardless of the financial toll the town might endure. However, Mayor Vaughan held superiority over Brody and forbade him from taking any further action in the case. Over the next few days, ferry loads of tourists arrived on Amity's docks. The beaches were crowded with Brody constantly present, as he was obviously extremely concerned about more potential attacks. As Brody and his wife Ellen sat in the sand, a young boy named Alex Kintner asked his mother for permission to go swimming. Though Mrs. Kintner noted that her son's fingers were starting to prune from the time he had already spent in the water that day, she allowed him 10 more minutes. I was that kid when I was younger. I'd fucking loved being in the water. We spent our whole summers in a caravan park right next to the beach. So, like, we went swimming, like, 3 times a day. We'd go swimming. Like, we'd get up in the morning, we'd go swimming. Mm-hmm. We'd hang out for a while. Then we'd have lunch. We'd go swimming. Then we'd hang out for a while. Then we'd go swimming before dinner. And then we'd have dinner. And then that was it. But we'd go swimming 3 times a day. And we'd be in there until we were fucking prunes, like.
Fun.
Alex and his yellow raft entered the ocean one last time before being set upon by what was unmistakably an enormous shark. Amid the ensuing panic of the other beachgoers, Mrs. Kintner, who had not seen the attack, called out desperately for her son as the bloodied and shredded remains of his raft washed up in the shore. With dozens of witnesses to Alex Kintner's gruesome death, the presence of a shark in Amity's waters was undeniable, and Brody was finally permitted to close the beaches. Alex's grieving mother even offered a $3,000 reward to anyone who could catch the shark that killed her son. And a town meeting was held to discuss the official shark problem. There, Brody announced that the police department would be expanding its efforts to keep the beaches safe, as well as bringing in a shark expert from the Oceanographic Institute to assist them. Most of the assembled townspeople were more concerned with the finances than the safety, to be honest, and remained angry about the beaches being closed, although Mayor Vaughan assured them it would only be for 24 hours.
Priorities, like.
But this is it. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like Summer Isle all over again. Did you know that you have this small island that depends on this very specific time of year to be successful for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
You know, it's very old school. It's very like, you know, when we're watching Vikings and stuff like that, where it's like you have to, or even when I'm listening to stuff about medieval Ireland on podcasts, like on the Irish History podcast, and it's like you need to have a good fucking summer. I mean, the Irish potato famine.
Oh, yeah,
if
you
shit
do,
goes
yeah.
wrong, you're direct. Like, I think it was mentioned in by one of the witnesses from this time, and it was like, if we had a bad summer, it's welfare for the rest of the fucking year, like,
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a panic. And when, even with the idea of just it being 24 hours, the crowd took off again, like something out of South Park. The whole rabba. But that chatter was quelled by a weather-battered man by the name of Sam Quint, an eccentric and roughened-looking fisherman who guaranteed the capture and slaughter of the offending shark for the price of $10,000. Though his offer was not accepted at that point, Quint seemed confident that the job would fall to him eventually. With Mrs. Kittner's reward made public, scores of amateur shark hunters crowded Amity's docks, coming from all over the northeast. 2 local men made a clumsy attempt to lure the shark with a pork roast, which resulted in one of them nearly becoming the shark's third victim. Arriving at the same time as the horde of overconfident fishermen was Matt Hooper, a shark expert from the Oceanographic Institute hired by the Amity Police. After meeting with Brody, Hooper was allowed to view the remains of Chrissy Watkins, which were brought to him in an ominously small plastic box. Hooper, visibly shaken after examining the mangled body parts, assured Brody that Chrissy did not die in a boating accident, but was in fact attacked by a shark. Not long after that, the bounty went out for Jaws. Well, Jaws. I was going to say it went out for his head, but I suppose like the jawbone is kind of the trophy they keep in the situation, isn't it?
I've more commonly seen shark's jaws than a shark.
You don't see a skull, so is that all that is there of their skull? Do they have more skull?
I'm going to check this out because that's a good question.
Because I've only ever seen their jaws, up on display.
I would have assumed in my head that their skeleton was just a very, very, very big version of like the sardine skeletons that you'd see in Tom and Jerry and stuff.
Yeah, I could kind of... Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, they have like whale skeletons in natural history museums, so surely...
Yeah.
Oh, no, they have a skull. I think...
They? Yeah, they'd have to.
Yeah, it's like their jaws are here, but then like their nose snout thing kind of comes out and like nearly a knife blade, but like not connected. So you could take this part off, but just have the jaws.
Crazy. Okay. But usually the trophy was the jaws.
Yeah.
And Jaws is what they were looking to get here. The town thought they could breathe a sigh of relief when the corpse of a large tiger shark was displayed on the docks, having been caught by some of the contending fishermen. Brody was initially elated, believing the nightmare to be over, until Hooper examined the creature's mouth and determined that the bite radius did not match the wounds on Chrissy Watkins' remains, and therefore was likely not the shark they were seeking. Hooper, wanting to be certain, suggested that he examine the contents of the shark's stomach, as its slow digestive system would ensure that recent meals would still be inside. Brody supported the plan, but Mayor Vaughan seemed disturbed by the notion and disapproved. He was kind of afraid that the sight of, if they were to cut that shark open and they had the right shark, the sight of a dismembered child's body falling out of its guts would put the tourists off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Apparently, when news got out of the shark's capture, Mrs. Kittner arrived to face her son's killer. Clad in black and choking back tears, she approached Brody and slapped him across the face, furiously accusing him of keeping the beaches open despite having prior knowledge that there was a man-eating shark in the water.
I lost my shit.
Well, it wasn't Brody's fault, was it?
Well, no, but it was misdirected, but I lost my fucking shit at someone.
Brody later said this incident made him both angry and ashamed and made him determined to prevent further attacks. I suppose he was ashamed in the sense of that he didn't stand up harder
Good
against the
instinct,
mayor and say, fuck off, we are closing this place, you can stick it up your ass. Privately, Brody and Hooper discussed the shark situation, underlying their earlier suspicion that the captured tiger shark was not the animal responsible for the deaths of Alex Kittner and Chrissy Watkins. Hooper believed that the culprit was not a tiger shark, but a great white shark, and unless it could be stopped, it would be likely remain in Amity's waters until its food source ran out.
So in other words, until the people had the common sense to stay out of the waters in Amity.
Exactly. So Hooper and Brody decided to examine the shark's stomach contents themselves, regardless of Mayor Vaughan's opinion. The men visited the deserted docks that night and located the dead tiger shark. Hooper sliced its belly open only to find some bisected fish, several tin cans, and a Louisiana license plate. Leading him to theorize the shark made its way up the Atlantic coast from the Gulf of Mexico. Finding no human remains, Hooper and Brody confirmed that this could not be the shark they were after. So do sharks just fucking eat anything?
I was just about to ask, how come the license plate didn't kill him? I thought you would at least got like a perforated bowel or something from that.
Hooper convinced Brody to continue their investigation out on the water, though Brody was terrified of the ocean.
And that probably wasn't made better by the 3,000-pound man-eating shark swimming around there. Like.
No. Using sonar equipment, Hooper located a large object a good distance away from the shoreline. Brody recognized it as the boat of Ben Gardner, a local fisherman. Hooper went to investigate the half-submerged craft and threw on his scuba gear before entering the water. It was on this dive that Hooper discovered a large hole in the hull of the boat and claims to have found an enormous tooth embedded on the side. Hooper says that while examining the tooth, he was suddenly horrified to find the corpse of Ben Gardner floating out of the hull, and out of shock, he says he dropped the tooth and his flashlight while rushing back to the surface. Brody and Hooper made yet another attempt to reason with the mayor, hoping their latest discoveries would make, a bit of a difference. But Vaughn, however, still stubbornly dismissed their arguments, insisting that even with the evidence of Ben Gardner's ravaged boat, there is no proof that a shark was responsible. Hooper explained that he had pulled the tooth of a great white shark out of the hull of Gardner's boat, but Vaughn merely rebuffed him once again, since Hooper could not produce the tooth he had dropped in the water. Though he allows Brody and Hooper to take extra precautions to keep the beaches safe, he refuses to close them. Now, Independence Day weekend finally arrives, bringing plenty of tourists, but the beachgoers were, to say the least, uneasy about the amount of police boats patrolling the water looking for the shark. Vaughn was concerned and no one was swimming, so a personal friend of his has come forward and said, he came up to him and he was like, buddy, you need to get the fuck in that water, start encouraging people, hey, if you go in, if they see you go in, then other people will follow. So he convinced this man to take himself and his wife and his grandchildren into the water to put everyone else's mind at ease, which worked, and people did fucking following. Right. So, remaining on the beach, Brody was aiding with the shark patrol. His eldest son, Michael, wished to take his new sailboat out into the water with his friends, but Brody asked him to take it to the adjacent estuary. Is that how you pronounce that? Estuary. Just to be safe. What's an estuary? What's the difference? Why is it safer there?
Why would an estuary be safer?
Is it just shallower water?
Yeah, it's the tidal mouth of a river where the tide meets the stream. So I would assume that the river doesn't want to go upstream.
Okay. So Michael reluctantly agrees. Excuse me. And in the meantime, a dorsal fin appeared among the swimmers in the main water and panic erupted. The crowd scrambled back into the beach and the police boats closed in, only to discover that the shark was merely a cardboard fin wielded by two young pranksters in snorkel gear.
Assholes.
Could you help yourself, really, though? Someone had to do it.
I would like to know how they made it out of cardboard and the cardboard didn't crumple in the sea.
Yeah, how'd you get that far into the water before, anyone noticed it? Because it would have to go underwater to get it there, wouldn't it?
It would, or else you're just a kid with a fin on its back.
You'll be noticed on your way out.
Shh, don't tell them.
The beachgoers began to relax, but a young woman overlooking the water sees the unmistakable form of a huge shark making its way to the estuary where Michael and his friends were sailing. The woman's cries at first were dismissed as another prank, but when Ellen reminds her husband that their son is in the pond, Brody goes to investigate. Michael and his friends are approached by a man in a rowboat who is instructing them on knotting techniques when boat vessels are suddenly capsized by the shark known now as Jaws. After the startled sailors surfaced and made their way back to their turned over boats to safety, a terrified Michael watched in paralysed horror as the older sailor man failed to reach his rowboat in time, resulting in him being ripped apart by the giant shark. Michael and his friends were thankfully brought safely back to shore, though Michael did have to be taken to hospital to be treated for shock. Brody confronted Vaughn once again and put his foot down, demanding that real action needed to be taken to deal with the shark. Vaughn, realising that his own children were on the beach that day as well, finally relents and gives Brody full permission to close the beaches and do all that is necessary to stop the shark. Sam Quint, the hardy old fisherman with the 10 grand price tag, was immediately hired. Though Quint was a vastly experienced shark hunter and wanted to take on the mission alone, Brody insisted that he and Hooper go along as well. There is instant tension between Quint and Hooper, with Quint seeing Hooper as a rich snob with no real shark hunting experience, and Hooper seeing Quint as a reckless thrill seeker with a bullish attitude. Though Hooper proves himself to be a capable sailor, the discomfort remains as the three men embark on their voyage in Quint's boat, the Orca. I wonder if he named that because the Orca is the killer whale, isn't it?
The Orca is the killer whale. Yeah.
And they are killer whales because they kill sharks.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess that's why he named his boat there, because we will learn why he dislikes sharks very soon, but this is obviously why he had named his boat the Orca.
The Orca.
Once out at sea, the men set about attracting the shark by ladling chum off the stern of the boat.
So what was the plan? I harpoon him once it got closer, just throw a fishing rod in and hope for the best.
Fishing rod?
Yeah?
Quint attached a line of piano wire to a sturdy rod secured against a specially designed fishing chair on the deck. After hours of waiting, the wire got tight and eventually snapped as the immense creature swam under the boat before disappearing again. It was at this point Brody, Hooper and Quint realised the enormous strength of their aquatic adversary. As the voyage pressed on with no further sign of the shark, Brody grumpily ladled more chum off the back of the boat when, without warning, the massive head of a great white shark emerged briefly from the depths below. Hooper noticed the shark beginning to circle the boat and Quint rushed out for a look. He estimated that the shark was 25 feet long and weighed 3 tons at least. After barking orders to Brody and Hooper, Quint began to fire harpoons tied to plastic barrels intended to both slow the shark down and make its presence more visible. So, like, when the shark was around, because the barrels were harpooned to it, you would see the fucking barrels floating along the wall before it got there. Though Quint hit the shark with 3 harpoons, the barrels had no effect and the shark easily pulled them underwater and out of sight. Luckily enough, though, in the midst of all the ruckus, Hooper managed to attach a tracking device to the beast before it retreated again. That night, the men had dinner and drinks below deck, surprisingly beginning to bond as they compared scars from their experience with various sea creatures. Brody noticed that Quint had had a tattoo removed, and Quint told him that the former tattoo represented the US Navy cruiser Indianapolis, on which he had been a sailor in World War II. Quint went on to illustrate the horrible day in July of 1945 when the Indianapolis was sunk by Japanese torpedoes, leaving over 1,100 men floundering in shark-infested waters. Quint witnessed 800 of his comrades being picked off by sharks. The experience, combined with survivor's guilt, had ignited Quint's deep-seated hatred of sharks and the rootless satisfaction he finds in hunting them. Brody said later that the men began to sing a rowdy sea chanty to lighten the mood, but were interrupted by the returning shark violently crashing into the boat and causing a leak. Quint rushed to the deck and fired a rifle at the three telltale barrels, but the shark escaped once again.
Smart shark.
Yeah, fucking hell. Imagine this shark in Sharknado. Would we be in like major trouble?
Not if we had Quint apart.
Huh? Is that what our mouse is? Is our mouse like the jaws of mice?
It's a smart little fucker, but the only thing is it's making itself fat. And the last time I saw it, like going in under the utility room door, it was wiggling in its little butt.
Struggling.
Yeah. So it's like he's going to trap himself in here at some stage.
The next day, the men attempted to repair the boat with limited success. Seawater had contaminated the diesel fuel, and the black smoke billowing from the exhaust pipe confirmed that to the men. They had taken on some serious engine damage here. But they had no time to worry about that, as Jaws made his way in to finish the trio off while they were at their weakest or in their hour of need. Quint instructed Hooper to grab the barrels with a hook and secure them to the stern. Hooper completed the task successfully, allowing Quint to attempt to drag the shark by powering the boat to full throttle, but the shark used its own incredible strength to pull the boat in the opposite direction, nearly capsizing it and causing further structural damage before Quint could cut the boat free of the wire that binded them. According to Hooper, the shark broke free from the barrels and submerged again. Now, at this point, Brody wanted to call him for more help.
Okay.
And this will kind of show you the type of person Quint was. Quint freaked the fuck out, picked up a baseball bat, freaked the fuck out, and started smashing the CB radio while Brody was trying to call for help. It was like he was determined that he was going to be the one to be bringing the shit. This sounds like some Moby Dick kind of shit. Mm-hmm. This guy was like, this is my fucking whale. I'm taking it in, like, you know.
He had a grudge.
Yeah, he was getting this great wife, you know.
Yeah.
Despite the hard feelings on board the Orca, the trio had to put their feelings aside to deal with the problem at hand. Jaws was closing in, dismissing Hooper's protests that he is overtaxing the already damaged engine. Quint put the foot down or arm forward. I don't know how to drive a boat. Do they have you push the lever forward to go faster, isn't it?
I don't think you use your feet.
Yeah, I don't think he does so either. Either way, the engine inevitably failed, leaving the boat to slowly sink in the vast hunting ground of the bloodthirsty shark. Quint, strangely calm, offered life jackets to the other men, though he took none for himself.
He sounds like Randy Quaid's character in Independence Day. He has the same grudge with the shark as Randy did with the aliens. And by the sounds of it, he planned to take Jaws out the exact same way Randy got the aliens.
I love that. Dead or alive, he'll get a man shark bounty. Oh, fucking man shark bounty. I don't know. He's just gonna go get him. What was it he said as he flew into the fucking spaceship again?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker?
No. Was it? Hey boys, I'm home, or something like that. It was something epic.
Yeah.
I know Randy Quaid's he's a bit of a lunatic, apparently.
Oh, I just forgot which. Yeah, no, I remember.
He's a bit crazy. He's Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid is Scream, right?
I thought that was Dennis Quaid's son.
Yeah. No, that's what I was going to say. He's his nephew.
Oh, are they brothers? Randy Quaid, Dennis Quaid. Didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Randy and Dennis Quaid are brothers. Yeah.
No, I thought it was just a coincidence.
No.
I don't know many Quaids.
Jack Quaid is his nephew.
Okay.
I thought you knew that.
No. Well, I knew Jack Quaid was Dennis Quaid's son.
But Dennis and Randy Quaid are brothers.
Let me have a look at him. It's this. Why did I never get this?
Because they're very different. Anyway, well, she's looking shocked now. She can't believe it.
Fucking National Lampoon. Fucking Randy Quaid.
Yeah. Did you not know that?
No, I know that's Randy Quaid. I just still can't get over that he's Dennis Quaid's brother.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, running out of options, Hooper resorts to putting on his scuba gear once again and having Quint and Brody lower him into the water inside a shark-proof cage. His aim being to inject the shark with poison using a harpoon syringe. Would you go down in one of these shark cages?
I couldn't go down in a small shark cage. I'd want to have an old rattle at the cage before I get in, like, see how strong it is. If I can't bend it, the shark definitely can't.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't the case here. Quint pointed out that even the needle on the harpoon gun was too small to pierce the shark's hide, but Hooper believed he could inject it into the beast's mouth. The cage proved to be no match for the shark, who attacks Hooper with such ferocity that he drops the harpoon and is forced to hide in a reef while his cage is destroyed.
But why do they keep sending Butterfingers Hooper down there? Like, he dropped the shark to his torch, and now he's after dropping the harpoon gun. I don't send the guy that starts easily down to deal with the giant shark at all.
Brody and Quint hauled up the remains of the shark cage and could only assume that Hooper was dead.
That's true. Like, would the water not be running red? Like, not be a clear indication?
I don't know, maybe he pulled them down deep enough before ripping them up. I don't know. I mean, does it get diluted enough quickly that you wouldn't see it maybe? I mean, all the hubbub of everything that's going on.
I don't know. I've never seen a real shark attack.
They barely have time to react before the shark leapt from the water like a breaching whale and landed most of its body into the sinking stern of the boat, nearly breaking the vessel in two. Quint and Brody desperately clung to the cabin as the boat was upended, with the shark's gaping mouth at the bottom of the drop. So basically, imagine the boat is going up like the Titanic was, up on its side.
Yeah.
Like they're at the top holding on, and at the bottom is the shark's mouth open wide, waiting to fucking eat them. Quint ultimately lost his grip, and despite Brody's best efforts to pull him to safety, slid into the mouth of the shark and was gruesomely shredded and devoured right in front of the petrified Brody. The shark, with Quint's bloodied corpse in its mouth, slid back into the water. Horrified and believing himself to be the only survivor of this seemingly doomed mission, Brody hastily entered the cabin of the rapidly sinking boat and grabbed one of Hooper's pressurized air tanks that he used for oxygen while diving. The shark smashed through the side of the boat again, its enormous mouth perilously close to Brody, who attempted to fend it off by bludgeoning it with the tank. The shark retreated with the air tank now lodged in its jaws. With little more than the boat's mast remaining above water, Brody climbed to its summit with a rifle in hand. Now possessing some of Quint's courage and madness, Brody fired at the approaching shark, aiming at the air tank in its mouth. At last, Brody hit its mark. The tank blew to pieces, taking the shark's head with it, leaving Brody celebrating triumphantly as blood and shark flesh ran down around him into the sea.
Well, that's not me swimming in the sea this summer. Paddling pool's going to do the job for me, I think.
Oh yeah, we'll fill it with ice and beer like Homer Simpson. Clothing optional.
Yeah, but we have no hedging or fencing, so the neighbours, they're not going to be happy with that.
What are they going to complain about? You're gorgeous, you're grand.
Yeah, but like that's double standards. Like, I'm naked in the back garden and it's gossip, but if you're in the naked in the back garden, you're a sex offender. So you can keep your mankini on.
You heard it here first from Aimee Rose. No togs, no entry to the private pool on the Smokenstein estate this summer.
Mainly because it's in no way private paddling pool in the middle of a housing estate.
It's Ireland. By the time you realise it's hot enough to go swimming, it's raining again, and we're back inside listening to us.
And there's always plenty to listen to. It's Say What Weekend Update, Creepypasta Crypt, Mini Monsters, Patreon exclusives, Behind the Mask and Real Monsters, and of course this show right here, It's Alive, coming out every Wednesday most of the time.
Until then, don't forget to like and subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Audible, Google Pods, Acast, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Also, you can follow us on all socials at Alive, or follow my personal pages at Aimee Rose IAA for some great content, pictures, and podcast updates.
See, the script says pretty pictures, but she keeps dodging that one. It's like, I don't want to say pretty pictures.
I don't want to say pretty pictures. They're pictures. They're pictures. They're not pictures. They're photos. They're photos.
Sexy pictures. Wow. It's Alive podcast, all the guts and gore, none of the guilt. See you all next week. Same Alive time, same Horrorverse channel. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.